This is a presentation of the Sports Source Digital Network, presented by Hearthside Bank.
Welcome into this special, it's a Sports Source Digital Network special report. John Pennington joined by Bob Hodge.
I want typewriter noises.
That's right, I'll have that.
Special report.
People out there are like, what is a typewriter?
Yeah.
I want to talk about Nico Iamaleava. Okay, they just had their first scrimmage, and everyone's saying he was good. He was good. Didn't sound like the offense was spectacular against the defense that was missing Jermod McCoy. Now, that's not all on Nico, but I just wonder, what is his future? Because right now, he came in and he sat for a year. They didn't play him very much. You kept Milton out there, and you didn't get him a lot of experience. Last year he comes in, he looks really good those first couple of layup games. Then, and I bought in, then it drops off for a spell. Gets a little better, but it never got to where, he's a star. He was your best player in Columbus, Ohio.
Yes.
He didn't back down. He looked tough. But you're not sitting there going, man, that guy is electric. He's a one-man wrecking crew.
You're not saying 5-star.
Yeah.
You're sitting there saying pretty good quarterback. But if you look back in recent Tennessee history, let's just say the last 3 decades, so far he has done nothing that separates himself from, forget Peyton Manning. That might be the best you
He's not
ever
Hendon
had.
Hooker.
He's not Hendon Hooker. He's not Josh Dobbs. He's not Eric Ainge.
His numbers are pretty much right there with Joe Milton.
So to me, he's been disappointing, and I think there's a lot riding on him this year as far as him personally, Nico, and I also think Tennessee's program, because this is by far the biggest ballyhooed recruit Josh Heupel has gotten. And if it turns out he's just average, may not be Josh Heupel's fault.
Yeah.
You see it all the time. 5-stars don't play like 5-stars. The number 1 pick in the NFL draft doesn't play like a number 1 pick. It happens at all levels, but it will fall back on Heupel a little bit as well.
Yeah, eventually it goes to the coach of that 5-star, that number 1 draft pick. And again, I don't think he's terrible. He hasn't been, and I don't think he got a ton of help last year. His tackles weren't good. Maybe they'll be better this year. I'm a little concerned that you've got a right tackle, more than likely. David Sanders is going to be a true freshman at right tackle, and now you've lost Miles Kitzelman for a while, who would probably be the tight end lining up to help David Sanders.
Your best run blocking tight end.
As well, yeah. You've lost Dylan Sampson, so you would like to think that, okay, we're going to have more pieces around him this year, because unlike Hendon Hooker, I didn't see a Jalen Hyatt out there last year who could take a 10-yard pass 50. That you didn't have that guy. Now, Thornton stayed hurt. He caught some deep. But they also dropped a lot deep last year. So he didn't get a lot of help. But at the same time, I'm not sure how much help he's going to get this year, because I'm a cynic. I'm not going to go Mike Matthews. Again, there's a difference. Why is it there's a difference between the Tennessee 5-star and the 5-star elsewhere? And I was talking to Ryan Callahan of Go Vols 24/7. He's like, well, Mike Matthews was a composite 5-star. We had him lower at 24/7. Okay. But you do look at it, and it's like, I don't see game breakers around him. So now
you're rebuilding your running game.
The interior of the line. You're also, the guards, the center, and one thing that has made this offense go in the past, I think it's the huge part of it. Kevin Simon and I have had this argument. He says tempo is not a big part of this, not the biggest part of this. I think it is the biggest part of it. When they're in tempo, it looks better. When they're not in tempo, it looks bad. So I'm going that it is, but Kevin knows more than I do. Still, you would hope they would get back to tempo this year. You've got a new center. Okay, how's that going to work? Because we saw when Cooper Mays was out, you put somebody else in there. Our friend Ollie Lane had to go in. He's a guard. They had to put him at center. It wasn't the same tempo. Was it all on Ollie Lane? No, but you need that veteran guy who's done it before to be with it. It just doesn't seem like the pieces have fit since he's arrived. Something's always been a little off.
And for Nico to flourish the way everybody expected Nico to flourish. Once again, Peyton Manning was on a really good football team.
Yeah.
So the better the entire piece of the puzzle looks around that one piece, the better that one piece is going to be.
Yep.
And I don't know that if you can say right now in early April, as spring practice is going on, I don't know if you can say he's got all those pieces. Now, there's a long time between now and football season. Guys get better during the summer. Guys are going to come in who aren't here yet, and they're going to help improve your team. So a lot of things can happen. But the two people this year who are set up for the biggest amount of criticism if things don't go well, number one, it's Josh Heupel. It's always going to be. And number two, it will be Nico.
And then some variation of, Joey Halsley will be in there too as the offense coordinator.
Yeah.
Will they target him and then Heupel gets part of it, or will they target Heupel and Halsley gets part of it? But he'll be in that mix too. But yes, it's Nico and Heupel.
But see, Nico last year, to me, with the exception of a handful of games, you didn't see the accuracy. You didn't see a lot of really great timing as where a receiver makes a break and he's open for that split second. Boy, the ball's already there.
You saw a flash here, a flash there. It was not consistent. That's right.
It was not consistent. And he was also touted as being such a good runner, which I think when I saw him run, he was a pretty good runner. I want to see that incorporated into the offense a little bit more. So there's a lot riding on this for Nico because I think supposedly he was supposed to be here for 3 years.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, the
this
family,
is 3 years.
Yes, the family thought he'd be going to the pros. Now, he has put on more weight this offseason, supposedly. So does that mean they're going to start running him more? But I think for anybody who looked at it and said, oh, we got Nico, we've got our Michael Vick. Yeah, he's not that. I don't want to go to this extreme.
Go to extremes.
All right,
It's the internet.
You got a Cam Newton on this extreme, or Jarrett Garantano, who was a highly recruited guy that just didn't pan out. Who's he closer to at this point? That's a huge. This is a future NFL. Okay, let's just say Tim Tebow, who won a national championship. But you know what I'm saying? People expected him to be one of those guys, Johnny Manziel, Heisman kind of guy.
I mean, right now,
he's closer to.
If you've got Garantano over here as the not so great, or as the maybe this is average.
Yeah,
he's got to be closer to that.
Yeah,
because you haven't seen, once again, talk about Hendon Hooker. Okay, before Hendon Hooker, Josh Dobbs. Before Josh Dobbs, Eric Ainge. I mean, just keep going back, and you see guys that performed more consistently than Nico has.
Yeah.
And not necessarily, Hooker had a really nice offensive line that came together for him, and he had really two good high-round draft pick NFL receivers playing with him, too.
Biletnikoff award winner. Yeah, best in the country.
And plus you had a good, stable running back.
Yep.
So he was not without the other talent. Mm-hmm. But these other guys have also played well, and their level of talent around them wasn't Biletnikoff award winners or SEC Offensive Player of the Year award winners.
I think you look. I think people expected him to be a guy who lifts all boats.
Yes.
If I took Johnny Manziel off Texas A&M, and somebody else had seen him, and they knew, he's crazy, but we're going to play him, and here's how we're going to use him. I think he would have starred at Tennessee. He would have starred at Kentucky. He would have starred at Florida. Now, you might have had more national success at Florida as opposed to Kentucky or Tennessee at that time. But he was a guy that I'll lift him off here, and now you're a better team.
Yeah.
And I'll lift him off here, I put him there, and now you're a better team. I don't get that feeling from Nico Iamaleava at this point. Doesn't mean he can't develop into that. Doesn't mean that at all. But it is interesting. Let's get into the fact that I think Tennessee was planning on him being a 3-year guy. They keep getting these top quarterbacks. You got Faizon Brandon. You've got McIntyre. Merklinger is kind of the low man on the totem pole.
Merklinger was a 4-star.
That's right. So he was nothing bad there.
So you stockpiled pretty good quarterback recruits.
So the problem is if Nico doesn't have a big year this year, one problem is, does that start to impact how you recruit these guys? I think you also need Joe Milton or Hendon Hooker or somebody to do something in the NFL. That would help you as well.
Yep.
I mean, the fact that we saw Hendon Hooker go to the 3rd string by the end of last year at the Lions, that doesn't bode well. That makes me wonder, all those people that say, well, that system doesn't fit for the NFL. We're going to have to reteach him all of these different reads and different routes. And everybody says, that's not true. Well, Hendon Hooker looked awfully good here. didn't look awfully good at Virginia Tech. Came here, looked great in this system, went to the NFL, and
and obviously didn't impress in Detroit last year. You don't bring a guy off the street to be your backup.
And move your high draft pick to third. Was he a second-round draft pick, third-round draft pick?
Third-round draft pick.
You drafted him to be your next guy.
Yeah.
So will that impact Tennessee's ability in the future to get these top quarterbacks if the guys in the pros don't take off and if Nico doesn't have a big year? And then the other issue, if he doesn't have the big year, the family thought we're going straight to the NFL.
And probably as a high draft pick.
Yes. And if he doesn't have a big year this year, he's transferring. I can't imagine. Are you going to have the budget to keep him? Because
you've got an awfully big quarterback room at the end of next signing period.
Yeah.
When you bring in the kid from North Carolina.
Yeah, Faizon.
How much money can you tie up in a position where one guy plays?
Yes.
Where one guy plays and the other guys, you're hoping and praying they don't play.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's an awfully lot.
I think it's a do or die year for Nico.
I would think I'm going to go if do is a 10 and die is a 1. I think there is a spot in there for it to hit right in the middle. That maybe he instead of looking good against the Kent States and the Chattanoogas, he looks good early against Syracuse and plays well. He don't have to be Georgia, but man, he really plays well against Georgia.
Again, he wasn't your problem at Ohio State.
Yes, exactly. He wasn't your problem at Ohio State. I think that there is a place where it's kind of could be a question mark what happened with him. But I also think there's a place, if he has another season this year like last year, yes, I think somebody moves on. Is it Nico that moves on? Is it Tennessee that moves on? But I think another season like last year and somebody moves on.
Okay, I wonder if he doesn't have a good season, I mean, his father flirted and teased that they were going to leave anyway, so you had to give him another raise. So if it doesn't work out for him this year, I can't imagine them sticking around. On the other side of that, if he has another so-so season and does stick around, then does Faizon Brandon say, I'm not sure I really want to come there. I don't know. I just think it's a monster year.
For some reason, somebody's going to leave that quarterback.
Seems that way, and it's just a make-or-break deal for Nico Iamaleava, who seems like a good kid and a good leader and everything else, and not a bad quarterback, but where would you rank him in the SEC last year? The upper half?
I think he's right there in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, 1 week he looked like he might have been the 5th best quarterback in the league, and another week he looked like he might have been the 9th best quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, but there's 16 teams.
Right, but
so it can go even farther down than that.
Yeah.
So, but no, he was just right there with a bunch of other guys who nobody ever said he's getting $8 million.
Yeah. All right, Bob Hodge, I appreciate it. Hey, if you like this kind of content, then hit like. Give us the thumbs up. That helps other Tennessee people know about us. It helps the algorithm. You wouldn't believe how much it helps the algorithm. Click like, and they'll say, hey, send this to those people over there. Also, subscribe, and you'll know whenever we're putting something new up on the channel, whether it's Lady Vols or baseball or football or whatever. We got it, or outdoors. When you do the next episode,
when we do Wild, next episode of Wild, yes.
Yeah, check that out right here at the Sports Source Digital Network. We appreciate you, and we thank Hearthside Bank as always. See you next time.